Good afternoon. The Senate Armed Services Subcommittee on Seapower convenes this afternoon to examine Marine Corps ground modernization initiatives. This afternoon, our subcommittee welcomes two distinguished witnesses, Mr. Jimmy Smith, Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Navy for Expeditionary Programs and Logistics Management, and Lieutenant General Robert Walsh, Deputy Commandant for Combat Development and Integration. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your attendance today and for your decades of service. Mr. Smith, I understand you are testifying before this subcommittee for the first time. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct, Senator.
Well, we welcome you all the more, and we are eager to hear what you have to say. As the military's force in readiness, the Marine Corps has unique crisis response roles and missions. According to the new National Defense Strategy, globally deployed Marine units will continue to serve as frontline forces postured against potential adversaries. Although the NDS sets new priorities, it does not change the Marine Corps' role as the military's tip of the spear. Today, the subcommittee will learn about the state of Marine ground forces and the efforts underway to restore readiness and modernize these forces. I look forward to hearing how the National Defense Strategy is shaping the Marine Corps' perspective on readiness, operations, and modernization for ground forces. Since the NDS release, Marine Corps leadership has discussed the current and future challenges faced by amphibious forces. Sophisticated sensor arrays, space and cyber weapons, drones, electronic warfare, mines, and highly capable air and missile threats all greatly complicate amphibious operations and power projection from the sea. The Marine Operating Concept 2025 offers warfighting concepts such as sea control, littoral operations in a contested environment, and expeditionary advanced base operations to help the Marines meet many of these challenges. I hope our witnesses will explain how the fiscal year 2019 budget request translates strategic direction and operational concepts into the rapid development and acquisition of capabilities. Many Marine Corps modernization programs have suffered from drawn-out development timelines, shifting and unrealistic requirements, and cost overruns. These factors have frequently conspired to prevent the fielding of replacements for aging systems, leaving our Marines short of critical capabilities. Years of budget instability have increased the damage, and that's on us sitting around this table. However, the recently passed two-year budget agreement provides a window of stability and operation for the Marine Corps. This subcommittee is confident that the Marine Corps can develop and field more lethal and agile ground forces to prevail in the high-end fight. This afternoon, our subcommittee will examine 5 key areas relating to Marine Corps ground programs. First, long-range precision fires. The subcommittee is eager to hear about efforts to field longer-range rocket, artillery, and missile systems, and that can do a better job of targeting adversary combat formations and supporting naval maneuvers. In support of this effort, the Marine Corps will activate a second high-mobility artillery rocket system, HIMARS, battalion at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina this year. The Army faces similar lethality and range gaps, and we've got some Army people in the room today, and we appreciate their service also. We expect both services to work collaboratively to address shortfalls in their tube and rocket artillery and surface-to-surface missile systems. Secondly, mobile short-range air defense. U.S. ground forces have not experienced enemy attacks since the Korean War. However, I'm concerned that manned and unmanned aircraft, rockets, artillery, and missiles pose an increasing danger to Marine units and installations worldwide. The Marine Corps has not updated its air defense capability since the early 90s. Our witnesses should explain ongoing efforts to rectify this shortfall. I understand that the Army also faces many of the same challenges. As with long-range precision fires, this subcommittee believes that the two services should work together to meet similar requirements. Although the Army and Marines seem to be collaborating on short-range systems, fielding a medium-range system is a more challenging issue. So we might want to ask why that is. The subcommittee would like a better understanding of the Marine Corps' requirements and plans to deploy longer-range air defense capabilities. Next, close combat lethality. Secretary Mattis recently established a Pentagon-wide task force to improve the lethality, survivability, and resiliency of close combat formations. I've heard concerns that the Marine Corps may have prioritized readiness recovery efforts on aviation units to the relative detriment of close combat units. So we'll ask about that. The subcommittee believes that the Marine Corps must make a balanced readiness and modernization effort across aviation and ground programs. We look forward to hearing from today's witnesses about Marine investments in its core infantry formations. And next, very shallow water mine countermeasures. Historically, mines have created serious difficulties for maritime forces, particularly amphibious units. Potential adversaries such as North Korea and Iran may employ large numbers of mines to deny access to strategic waterways and approaches. The Navy's littoral combat ship and several airborne platforms have counter-mine capabilities, but they are focused on operations in deeper water away from shore. The Marine Corps needs counter-mine capability from ship to shore, including in very shallow water and on the shore, given that the Navy and Marine Corps recently agreed to produce joint countermine doctrine. Our witnesses should address how the Marines will deal with mine threats on shore and in regions with very shallow water. And finally, combat vehicle obsolescence. Our subcommittee would like to discuss the state of major Marine Corps ground combat vehicles. The light armored vehicle first entered service in the mid-1980s. The amphibious assault vehicle in the late 70s, and the Abrams tank entered service in the early 90s. The Marines clearly need more modern combat vehicles. The subcommittee is interested in the Marine Corps' plan to modernize, replace, and upgrade its legacy ground platforms. The recently released National Defense Strategy requires all of the services to adjust to revised security priorities. The Marine Corps is no exception. The new guidance will require the Marines to make difficult decisions, especially concerning ground programs. The emerging security environment presents significant challenges to the ways in which the Marine Corps has traditionally operated. It is imperative that the subcommittee and the Marine Corps continue to work closely together to ensure the success of its ground program modernization initiatives. I once again thank you for your service to the country and for appearing today, and I'm delighted to recognize my teammate and ranking member, Senator Hirono.